Right. So, welcome everyone to part one of our four-part series on embodiment for immunity and resilience. And my name's Emily Winter, for those of you who I'm meeting for the first time right now. I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner, and I work at Elevate Wellness Center in South Lake Tahoe, California. Somatic experiencing is a mind-body technique to resolve traumatic stress and to bring a greater sense of regulation and balance into the nervous system. So I came up with this series to offer our community just an opportunity to have a small window every week where you can just tune in and be guided through some experiences to support your resilience. So somatic experiencing, yoga, these different practices that I'm drawing from during these webinars, these exercises are really meant to support resilience of your nervous system. And our resilience is directly linked to our immunity. So if we're really stressed out and our nervous system is experiencing more stress than usual, or we might actually have some symptoms of trauma, or we're feeling some of that survival, fight or flight, or freezy kind of energy in our bodies, that's a sign that there's stress internally in your system. And stress and the immune system, stress kind of has a dampening effect on the immune system. So we want to keep ourselves healthy, but this is also a time of unprecedented stress and challenge for so many folks. And so I'm just offering some tools today that you can just either experience right here as your only time experiencing them, or you might find something you like from our journey together today and put it to use on your own, in your own home, or when you're have to go to the grocery store, have to go out and you're feeling some anxiety or some of that energy rise up in your body, you might find something today or in one of these other sessions that you can use to help stay a little calmer, stay a little more present. One more little housekeeping thing I want to mention is the Zoom link for this is going to be the exact same link every single week. So I'll make sure you get a reminder email if you're on this list, but the link will be the same. So you can just click that and join in anytime. As we move through our practice today, I do want to just normalize that, embodiment might be new for some of you participating today. And embodiment is all about sensing into your physical body and noticing what's there, being able to tune into sensations, to your breath. And sometimes this can be a really supportive and relaxing experience for our bodies. And sometimes when we start to tune in to what's happening below the neck, we might be surprised by what we find there. So just know that as we're moving through these exercises today, if you notice there's some emotion in you, or you notice perhaps some discomfort somewhere of any kind in your body, I just invite you to bring awareness back to your seat on the chair. You can maybe let your eyes travel around your room, just letting yourself kind of move out of that deep internal space for a few breaths. And mostly just know that that's really normal, because we're very good as humans at overriding and holding down all of those sensations and emotions that might not be so comfortable or pleasant. But when we start to feel into our bodies with this kind of intention that we're going to bring today, you might start to notice some of those things show up. So if that happens for you, I invite you to just use the little phrase, I'm aware of this now. I'm aware of this now. And then if you find there's something you want additional support on, contact me or put a question in the chat box. So there's really room for all of you here, no matter what state your nervous system is in today. But the majority of what I'm going to offer are practices to support a settling, or what's known as a downregulation of the nervous system, of the stress in your body, to increase coherence, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. So we'll get started. I don't want to just talk at you this whole time. I'm going to invite each and every one of you just to make yourselves comfortable. So you want to be seated for this exercise today and in view of the screen, but you don't have to be watching me the whole time, because I'm going to be really guiding you through this experience. And if you're a person who can tune in a little bit more to what's happening internally with your eyes lowered at your lap or your eyes closed, then I encourage you to do that and just find some restful position for your body. Use pillows to prop yourself up, get a cozy, fuzzy blanket, throw it over your lap. You just want to be comfortable for the next 30 minutes as we're moving through this together. So today we're going to enter this experience of embodiment through our heart. And each week we'll work with a different part of our nervous system as a doorway into our bodies, as a doorway into our nervous system, and into creating perhaps a greater sense of balance or coherence internally. And today we're going to focus on the heart and have a really heart-centered practice. So feel free to let your gaze just relax down at your lap, or you might close your eyes. And I'm going to invite everyone to just begin actually with some slow movement today. So allowing your jaw to relax. You can just let your lower teeth separate from your upper teeth. See if your tongue can relax a little bit more in your mouth. And just in doing that, bring a little inquiry, self-inquiry into your body and notice what happened when I relaxed my jaw. Was there any subtle shift? And I'll be inviting you just to bring that self-inquiry and mindful awareness internally many times throughout our experience together so that you can know for yourself which exercise made a difference for you. Now let's start to open up and stretch and expand those structures, muscles, and bones that are actually around our heart. So working a little bit with our arms and our shoulders, I'll invite you to lift your shoulders up toward your ears, any amount. And as you exhale, gently relax your shoulders down. And just move through those at your own pace. You might make really small movements, or they might be bigger. Tune in to your own nervous system and see, what do you like? How do you like to move through your shoulders here? Let's find one more. Shrug and release together. Okay, now just moving up through the elbow joint. So you're just going to gently let your arms extend in any direction and then bend your elbows. So we can get a lot of energy kind of locked up in our joints. And just moving a little bit through these joints of the upper body, start to help that energy flow more, right? From the heart, helps your circulation, and it helps bring your awareness below the neck. If you are a person who hangs out up in your head, or like me, up in the clouds a lot of the time, then this helps you to kind of come back into your body. So letting your arms rest, just circle your wrists, work through your wrist joint. And you can give your hands a little shake. Just letting go of a little control over your hand muscles, your wrists. Great, and then just let your arms relax again. Your body settle. And we'll work now just a few more opening experiences for the structures, the physical structures around your heart space. So if you've done yoga, we're gonna do little mini cat-cows. And I'll demonstrate this. If you've never done yoga, I'll invite you to sit up a little taller. I'm just turning sideways so you can see more of what my back is doing. So sit up a little taller in your spine, and then gently just start to let your heart lift up into the air. You can move your gaze to the ceiling if you want to, or you can keep your gaze level. And then we'll make the opposite shape. So rounding your shoulders. And if you think about it, you're gently lifting the back of your heart as you round. So let's breathe in and lift the front of your heart, letting it shine forward. And breathe out and lift the back of your heart, rounding your shoulders. And do just one more, maybe two more at your own pace. Perhaps breathing a little more deeply as you start to really open up through your rib cage and your chest. And then just make your way back to neutral. And we're still finding a little bit of a taller spine here. So you can let your shoulders just be stacked above your hips as best as you can. Take a moment just to find a settling breath there and bring a little question into your chest of, am I noticing a little more sensation there? And the answer might be no to that question, and that's fine. There's no wrong answer. It's just that practice of what is happening, tuning in over and over again. So our final movement is going to be just a gentle twist around the heart. So you can start to twist to your right or left, doesn't really matter. Just gently twisting your upper body. And let this be really gentle and light in your body. We're not really exercising. We're just waking up these structures. As you're twisting, feel your shoulders and your ribs twisting around your heart. Or just notice if you can sense that. Take a longer, deeper breath. And then gently let your upper body unwind and just come back to neutral and center. Now we will go to the other side, but I want to offer you this opportunity to see if you feel a difference. After just twisting one side, does one side of your body feel a little different than the other? And when you feel ready, you can just notice what you notice and make your way to the other side. So twisting whichever direction you didn't do the first time, and letting your shoulders and your ribs just wrap around your heart. Taking a nice long breath into your chest, expanding your chest, your ribs. And then gently start to let your upper body unwind and find that neutral seat again. Letting your gaze relax. You can let your body relax if you want to recline into your chair now or find some pillows to support your back. Feel free. So from here, I'm going to offer a variety of practices that don't actually involve a lot of movement, because today we're using a lot of awareness-based and attention-based and breathing-based practices to help us get into our bodies. But I'm a person who likes to be moving a lot. And when I try to hold my body really still, I start to get even more distracted or go more into a freezy or kind of collapsed place in my nervous system. So I'm saying that to normalize that for anyone out there who's like that, who has maybe a harder time really sitting still. And I'll invite you to actually find a little sway in your upper body. So we're teaching our nervous systems, hey, we can listen. We can tune into what you want, body, and we can do that. So you can invite just a really gentle rhythmic sway side to side. And you all might explore that right now. Even if you're not sure if you want to be totally still or not, you can just feel how this is in your body. I hear my chair creaking away here. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. I'm just noticing how this is to rock side to side. And you can feel free to keep that movement going or start that movement again at any point that we're doing another more meditative practice today. Just bringing a little movement in, it really helps our nervous system come back into the present moment and come back into our bodies. So I really want to invite you to do that. So as you let yourself relax, your eyes might be closed, your gaze might be just down resting in your lap. And I'll invite you either to have your hands in a centering position resting in your lap. So maybe one hand holding the other or hands interlaced, just resting in your lap. Or if you prefer, you might bring a hand onto your belly or onto your belly and your chest. So you can maybe tune in a bit more to your breathing, because we're going to play with our breathing a little bit now. So first, just notice how you're breathing. You don't need to do anything to change it, but bring some awareness to that. Does your breath feel short? Does it feel long? Is it smooth or a little jagged? Does it feel easier to breathe in or to breathe out? And as you're noticing your breath, this is not a concentration practice. It's just a really gentle, touch the breath lightly with your awareness and then let it go. And then come back and just touch the breath lightly again. Notice what it's doing and then just let it go. And as you're breathing, I will invite you to start to allow your breath to lengthen. Now, not forcing a big breath, because if your breathing's a little shallower right now, that can make you feel even worse inside to try to force a big breath. So just subtle little bit each breath, pressing out a little more air as you breathe out. So when we exhale longer than we inhale, it sends a really powerful message of safety to your nervous system. And you can use your breath consciously in that way, letting a little more air out on the exhale. It changes the ratio of carbon dioxide to oxygen in your bloodstream. It shifts your breathing pattern, but it's really simple just to do for yourself. So for anyone who's connecting well and really loving this breathing right now, I'm going to offer you to add on a bit to this. And if you're just comfortable continuing to breathe as we have been, lengthening your breath, then stay with that. For anyone who's curious to add on a little bit, I'll offer a practice with your breath that starts to stimulate your vagus nerve. Well, I'm not going into great detail on that today, but the vagus nerve also plays a really important role in how safe your nervous system is feeling and how relaxed it can be. So we can stimulate our vagus nerve using sound. So I'm going to walk you through these first because sometimes when I start to make the sounds, it gets lost because we're using these like noise canceling headphones and everything. So if you can't hear me when I'm actually making a sound, don't worry about it. But I'll invite you to do one of two things. You can inhale and then make a nice low hum sound all the way out. So you might not have been able to hear that. I'm not sure, it's cut out before, but I was just making this deep humming sound all the way out with my breath. Another way to do that is with your mouth open. And I prefer it with mouth open because you can get a little deeper sound. And your vagus nerve goes deep into your body. It goes into all your viscera, right? It's kind of your gut instinct. So with the mouth open, just let your jaw relax. And then as low as a sound as you can make as you exhale. So experiment with whatever you feel comfortable experimenting with right now. And just as before, bring inside that self-inquiry. What is that doing to my nervous system? So have you experienced any heat or shaking with that noise? That's normal. Because sometimes when we start to stimulate our vagus nerve, it actually helps us to start to discharge a little energy that we're holding in our bodies. And heat and shaking are ways that your body naturally uses to help release some of that energy to help your nervous system to settle. Just like sweating keeps you cool, right? Sweating is how your body takes care of you to keep you cool when you're so hot. All right. So I invite you just to stay with your breath, not making the sound anymore. You don't want to make that sound for, 15 minutes in a row because you might actually get pretty activated doing that. But, 1 to 3 to 5 times can really help to settle what's happening in your nervous system, help to regulate and kind of relax that. So from here, I'm going to invite you to, you can keep a hand on your heart the whole time if you want. That's a great way to be able to connect with your breath and your heart. Or you can just let your hands relax in your lap. But now I'll invite you to start to imagine that you're breathing in and out from your heart. And one way to visualize this is to imagine, I like to use a white light, but you can come up with a color that, feels right for you. And just imagine your heart swelling up with that light or that color as you inhale. And then that color or that light just radiating out of you as you exhale. Still inviting your breath to be really long and slow. And as you're just breathing here in and out of your heart, I'm going to invite you to conjure up a memory. Or rather than that, I'm going to invite you to imagine right here, right now, that you're sitting next to an old friend who you haven't seen in a long time. And if nothing really comes in for you around that, then another option would be imagine a person that you appreciate, or not, if not a person, then a pet, or even a plant, right? Something you really love or appreciate, just sitting next to you, right next to you, wherever you're seated. Continuing to breathe. And just notice, what does your body want to do here? What kind of quality has arisen internally for you? I'll offer a few options here as well. You might notice a swelling around your heart, or the urge to smile. You might feel a softening around your back or shoulders, or in your belly. Or you might feel something else entirely. So just notice how this is for you. And just visualizing that friend or pet or whatever it is right next to you as you're still breathing in and out of your heart. Great. So we're moving into what's known as a state of heart coherence. And we're going to move further into this state. I'll share just a few words about your heart and heart coherence. So your heart has 40,000 neurons, and your heart produces 60 times the electricity of your brain. When our heart is in a coherent place, which is a measurable wave of your heart, it signifies a sense of harmony between all the systems of your body. lack of stress happening, lack of stress energy in the body. So when we're in this coherent state, that electrical energy of your heart can be measured up to 3 meters outside of your body, and it can be measured in people and animals around you. So not only can dropping into this place of heart coherence help to bring all of our systems into a greater sense of harmony, but there are measurable benefits to it for the individual: greater health, greater wellness, stronger immunity, stronger resilience. But we also start to create those effects in people around us when we're in heart coherent state, because we're just mammals and we're always resonating off each other in that way. That's very subconscious, but it is happening. So let's keep moving into a place of heart coherence. And I'm going to invite you to just keep feeling your breath in and out of your heart. And if your hand is resting on your heart, then take a moment now and see if you can actually sense the pulsing of your heart. Now, some folks are not so easily able to feel their heartbeat, and that's totally fine. So, if you're not noticing your heartbeat, then I'm going to invite you to just work with a breathing practice here, breathing in and out of your heart, where you're counting maybe to 5 or 6 seconds as you inhale, and maybe 6, 7, or 8 seconds on your exhale. And if you can feel your heartbeat here, then start to count 5 or 6 heartbeats as you breathe in, and 7 or 8 heartbeats as you breathe out. Maybe still visualizing that light or color, if that resonated with you, moving in and out of your heart as you're breathing. If you are sensing your heartbeat, if you're not sensing your heartbeat, just stay with this breathing practice. You're dropping into that coherent state right now. And if you can sense your heartbeat here, see if you can sense your heart beating in your hand that's resting on your heart. And can you sense that heartbeat down your arms, in your neck, down your back, in your hips, down your legs, in your feet, and then just gently guide your awareness back into your heart space. And from that space of light or color in your heart, can you remember a time when you felt a deep appreciation or love or deep gratitude? And just spend a moment to bring forth the memory of this feeling. It can be a long time ago. And if it was easy earlier to imagine that person or pet next to you and feel that gratitude and love, then imagine that person next to you again. Continuing to breathe in and out of your heart. Notice what happens in the rest of your body as you cultivate some gratitude or appreciation. Whatever it is you're noticing internally right now as you breathe, if it's a pleasant experience, can you invite every cell of your body to soak that in? Could you imagine that you were like a sponge and you were just soaking up all of that love and gratitude, emanating, radiating from your incredibly powerful electric heart space? And if you'd like, you might imagine that light or color or sensation just radiating out of you to reach that person you love, that pet, and to reach others, the planet, our whole world. And just another few moments here. I just invite you to keep just lightly touching your awareness into your body. How is this treating you? And so if your eyes are closed, and I invite you to just lower your head a little bit and in your own time, start to blink your eyes open. Just let your eyes blink a lot so that you can slowly readjust to the light of the space that you're in. And you can feel free to keep your gaze down here. I'm going to invite you actually to wait until you sense in your own body a readiness to begin to look around again. And as you do feel ready, or if you do at some point feel ready to start, looking around your space, then from this place of being hopefully a bit more settled and in more a greater sense of resonance or coherence happening between all these systems of your body, let's orient to our space now from this place. So keeping your eyes soft, can you start to let your gaze travel around the room you're in? And just let your room come to you. Instead of letting your eyes kind of pop out and grab whatever they want to look at, can you just keep your eyes resting in your head and just let the colors and the shapes and the textures come to you? Now, you might be in a space you've spent a lot of time in lately, so it might be really familiar, and looking around it might seem like no big deal, but I'm going to encourage you to just notice what might be a little bit different about looking around your room from this place. Can you see what your eyes are drawn to? Maybe an underappreciated plant in your room or the view out a window. Maybe there's just something you've had hanging on your wall for years that you just walk past a lot, and you can suddenly notice the colors and textures again and why you hung that up. And as you're just letting your eyes orient gently, once again, just feel inside your body. How is that? Great. And then just as you feel ready, I'll invite you to come back to the screen. You can keep your breathing going, you can keep rocking, whatever you want here. And I'll just wrap up for a minute or two. I wanted to keep these short so that folks would feel like they could attend and just jump in and out of an embodiment experience once a week. And then, of course, you can rewatch this if you enjoyed any part of this and you want to try it again and be guided through it. I'll post this video. Um, just a few more words on coherence. So all of that research I was talking about is from the Heart Math Institute. And you can Google them. They're amazing. They've been doing research on the measurable effects of our heart to electricity for decades. And it's really fascinating work. But this state of coherence that I keep talking about is one of the best things that you can do for your immune system. And it really is quite a simple practice. So I know it was mixed in with everything else we did today, but I'm going to just give you the basics right now that are from the Heart Math Institute. And that is to, get comfortable and bring a hand onto your heart. Again, that's probably optional. I don't know how important that is, but for many folks, it'll help them tune in a bit more to the heartbeat. And try to become aware of your heart beating. And then you just breathe in 5 to 6, you breathe out 7 to 8. So just lengthening your exhale. If you have a shorter breath and 5 or 6 counts in is not available to you, can you do 2 or 3 counts in and 4 counts out? So it's really just lengthening the exhale a little longer. That downregulates your nervous system. And the final piece is cultivate gratitude or love, just through a memory or an image like we did today. Coherence, the Heart Math Institute says, coherence is the physiological signature of love at the core of the human system. So when we're in that coherent space, we are radiating really loving, compassionate, empathetic energy out to other people and also increasing their coherence and strengthening their immune systems at the same time. So I want to encourage you to play with heart coherence a few minutes every day, as a way to kind of maintain your nervous system, help to release stress and help you to feel a little bit different internally. When we cultivate love and gratitude, it actually releases endorphins in our body that make our heart swell. So it dilates the blood vessels around our heart. So that's a real thing. The heart actually does swell when we're in those deeper states of appreciation and love. And so even though it might be harder to access those states these days, if you're having a challenging time, see if you can take, 5 minutes out of your day when you are home and you're not out and about, feeling anxious, but you're home and you can spend a minute just helping your body feel a little bit more safety right here, right now. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording at this point. Actually, let me just check if we have any questions to make sure. Okay, no questions. So I'm going to stop this video, the recording, and then I'll give you all the option if you want to turn your video on, and I'll unmute you, and we'll just be able to wave and say a quick hello and goodbye to each other if you want to see who's been here practicing with you all. All right.